Stranger Things is coming to an end, and I thought, what a better way to talk about it than to show off all of my favorite Funko Pops from every season. I guess besides season 5, because I don't have a lot of those figures in my collection yet. But I went through my seasons 1 through 4, and we're gonna be checking out a pretty good amount of them that I just love and have had in my collection for now almost a decade, some of these. And so let's just jump right into this with 5 random figures that I love. Starting over here with Robin. This is the You Rule, You Suck on the whiteboard version. She's wearing her Scoops Ahoy outfit, and I think it is honestly such a funny figure. And if you didn't know, you can actually right now over on Funko.com pop yourself and turn yourself into a Stranger Things character. And one of the things that you can get is the You Rule, You Suck board. And when I saw that on the website, it reminded me of this figure and just how much I love it. Then this next one that we have here is not just a regular Dustin. If you look closely, it's actually Dustin with Dart. And I think that is a really cool addition because it's that little version of Dart right at the beginning of the season. He's way cuter than later on, and also you can see that Dustin has that ghost trap, you know, when they wear their Ghostbusters outfits, and then also on his shirt there, what is it? Is it a hot air balloon? It kind of looks like one. Here's the thing, everybody, that was season 2, I believe. It was so long ago. Anyways, though, moving on to the next one here, everybody, we have number 1, or Henry Creel, and this is another really great figure. It's also the only time we've got him just as like a regular person, not Vecna. And this was also a summer conventions exclusive, so you could only get it over at San Diego Comic-Con. Pretty sweet. And then after him, though, we have Will the Wise. I figured if I was going to talk about, you know, some random Will, it was going to be this one, especially because this here also glows in the dark. It was exclusive to Target. I'm a big fan of this one. I love that he's wearing his entire outfit, the staff, as well as the really pointy hat, you know, like that little wizard hat. It's just so great. And they did a giant collection for this season. Well, I mean, they do for every single season, but when you take a look on the back, there were some really great ones that released for this. And then the newest release out of the ones that we have on the table here anyways, it is that 9,500 piece Demogorgon. It was exclusive to Walmart. You could only get it there and it sold out really quickly. Funko more recently has been doing those limited edition figures where there's only so many of them and then they're gone forever. And this is definitely one of the more sought after ones. I remember when it came out, everybody jumped on it right away. And the nice thing is here in Canada, it showed up on Walmart.ca as well. And I guess there's just less people here in general, so it was a little easier to get. But yeah, this was honestly such an amazing one. I love that it's not just one color gold. They did a few different like lighter and darker versions. So that way when you look at them, it's not just, you know, one color all the way down. It's got some depth. Alrighty, this one here is honestly one of the wackier ones that Funko has done. It is the Duffer Brothers 2-pack. And if you're wondering why my hand's in the middle here, it's because, well, I remember when I got it, it was in a box and then it got wet, so the Stranger Things logo, it's got a watermark on the front. Not the good kind that you pay to remove, one that will not come off of the box. And it's too bad because I really do love this set, especially because Funko put them in there upside down. But the good news is I didn't pay that much for this one, so it's not that big of a deal. The thing is, though, with these characters, is that I want to keep them in the box because they are upside down. Whatever. It's still an amazing set, and I'm glad I have it in the collection. Here is an interesting one. It is Barb from season 1, but you may notice it's actually signed by the actress Shannon Purser. This is one that I actually got, I believe it was from a mystery box. It was right around the time when the first season was out. It was probably a little bit after the first season had released. And I remember there was a company out there and I bought a few of the random kind of like Funko Pop signed mystery boxes. And one of the ones that I got was, well, of course, this signed Barb. It was such a cool thing to get, especially because she was only in season 1. So I'm hoping, justice for Barb, we can see her in season 5. Wouldn't that be amazing? I don't know, but it's still really cool that we have this figure to commemorate her being in the show. And then also, taking a look on the back, there was so many figures that released for season 1. It's pretty nostalgic to look back at these, especially that 11 Underwater. I totally forgot that existed. Now, this is an interesting one that I've got next to me here. It is the, well, 4 of them, but check it out. They're all 8-bit, and if you guys don't know why, it's supposed to be like an old arcade game. This is a really fun set, and I remember when these released, there wasn't normally a 4-pack. They were all separate, or actually, no, they weren't well, they were separate, but they weren't separate. What I mean by that is that Target was selling a bundle of them where you could get, I believe it was 4 or 5. No, maybe it was 5, and that was how you got the Demogorgon. Like I said, everybody, it's been almost a decade. I'm trying to remember for myself. Either way, though, there was a bundle over at Target where you get a bunch of them inside, and I was never able to get that, but I was able to get this one that released a little bit later on, and honestly, I like how this looks, especially because it is only 3 Funko Pops wide, so it actually fits more on my shelf. Taking a look at the actual figures inside of here, 11 looks great. I also think it's so funny that they actually have to say with Eggos because it's still technically, you know, the waffle in her hand. Mike's really cool too. I love the backpack that he's wearing. Dustin is another amazing one, especially with that big baseball cap on. And then Lucas, he's got that bandana. And it's funny, I remember after the first season had come out, Caleb McLaughlin was actually over at Niagara Falls Comic-Con. I saw him there. I debated on getting a pop signed and I never did. It's too bad I didn't because that would be so cool to have today. I could have shown it off with my bar. Now for this next kind of grouping that we have here, I grabbed some of my favorite versions of one of my favorite characters, Steve. I'm a big Joe Keery fan in general, and I think that this one here is honestly such a great collection that I have because there's 3 of them and they're all kind of unique in their own ways. This first one here, it's kind of funny because I didn't really, you know, care too much about Steve after season 1 had released. But then in between season 1 and season 2, Funko released this figure here for, I believe it would have been, yes, San Diego Comic-Con in 2017. I didn't really care about Steve too much in the first season. Not that I didn't care about him, but he just, you know, wasn't a huge part. I didn't know much about him. But then as season 2 came out, this figure became really hard to get. And I'm so glad that I was able to get it right away. And I think I got it for retail. Yes, I paid, for anybody wondering, $18 for it, which I think is a pretty great deal. Then, everybody, we have this next one here, which is actually the Scoops Ahoy version of Steve, but not the regular one. He actually has the, well, Baskin-Robbins banana boat in his hand, and you can only get this one over at Baskin-Robbins, and I'm trying to remember when this one released now. It was, let me see on the bottom here, wow, 2019. Then, everyone, for this third figure here, we have Steve with bandana, and I believe this one would have been season 2. That sounds right to me. He's also got his goggles on, and when you have him out of the box, there is his bat with all the nails on it in his backpack. All right, now our biggest figure of the day. Yeah, definitely biggest. We have Max at Cemetery. This is a really interesting one. She's wearing the Walkman. I love the trees in the background, as well as the tombstone. This is a really cool figure, and I think it's a really great Max one in general. I know that there's a couple different versions of Max, like her with the Michael Myers mask on, but I think out of all of them, this one's probably my favorite. It's an interesting but iconic scene, and I think out of all of the Stranger Things pops that I can come up with in my head, it's gotta be the most unique. Oh, now this is an interesting one, guys. We have Will from season 1. If you guys want to check it out here, I really am a big fan of this one. Just kidding. It is actually the Bitty Pop Bitty box, if I could open it up there, where there's a little set of the buyer's home inside. Did you really think I forgot to talk about Will earlier? I mean, I've done it in the past, so I wouldn't be surprised if you did. But anyways, these here are really cool. If you guys don't know, Funko's done this for a couple different licenses now. With one of them, of course, being Stranger Things. And inside, you actually get 2 Bitty Pops. We get the upside down Will, and then 11 with goggles. What is also so cool with these figures is you can take them out of the box, and I'll show you with the Will. They have little spots, so you can actually slide them in to be upside down in the upside down. So take a look at that. There he is on the couch. I do kind of, in a way, wish they also put those little sliding things on the top so we had like spots for them, but I understand why they didn't, so you can move them around and put them wherever you want. But if you want to see, there's 11 on the top. They're both so cool to have inside. And the neat thing is, too, everybody, is that there's actually a bunch of different biddies that you could do for Stranger Things, because they made an entire mystery set. You don't just have to have these 2 here, and you could fill it with Steve, Will, Mike, whatever you want. Oh, and you know what? Now that I think about it, there is also a pop nook of Will in the upside down. I wasn't able to get it, which is too bad because it would have been great to show off today. But maybe if I see it in stores soon, well, if I see it in stores soon, I'm definitely going to be picking it up because it's an awesome figure. Next up, we've got another little collection that I've had for a while. It is my Blacklight Stranger Things figures. I have the Demogorgon. We have, well, of course, 11, Dustin, and that was kind of all they did for these 3 here. But then a little bit later on, I also got Eddie, so I figured we'll show all 4. It's also the first pop that I've shown off today for Eddie, so we had to include him somewhere. And yeah, this is a really great collection because it is just the regular versions that released for, I believe this would have been season 3 or 4. It was definitely a later one. If you guys don't know how the Blacklight figures work, they are just kind of like more vibrant versions of the regular characters. But something that I do like is that if you have a Blacklight and it's dark, you can actually really get them to illuminate super bright, and I think that's why I enjoy these so much. It's another one of those gimmicky exclusives that Funko makes, but it feels so 80s to me, and maybe that's why it works really well with Stranger Things. Ooh, right. Now, this one here, I actually haven't even unboxed boxed yet all the way. I took it out of the main box because I wanted to make sure that this was the figure that I was thinking of. But it's a super exciting one, and it's also one of those digital figures. Rest in peace. But anyways, getting into this one here, it is actually the hardest one to get from the Stranger Things set. And so that's why I thought it'd be so fun to talk about today. It just came in a little while ago, and we have, limited to 999 pieces. It is Murray! How cool is this? I believe this was the second Murray figure, but it's definitely the better one of the two because it's him double fisting corn dogs. And it's funny, like I said, it's the first time I've seen this one in person. So he's got his sandals on, he's got that little watch on, he also has those glasses, the beard, the hair. Honestly, really, really well done for a Murray figure. And I mean, I guess that makes sense because it was the rarest one you could get. And if you're wondering how these work, you actually had to buy digital packs to then pull physical figures. Funko doesn't do it anymore, but it was so cool because you would get, I think it was 17 in a pack, and then when you open them up, you would actually have like a chance to get cards that would actually be Pops like, well, this Murray here. And so that's why it's so hard to get and a pretty fun one to have in the collection. And anyways, with that being said, everybody, that is all of the Stranger Things Pops that I have for you today. If you want to see more Stranger Things, I've actually uploaded a few videos recently. One for a Stranger Things Season 5 Pop Hunt, and another where I went all around New York City for 24 hours doing Stranger Things stuff. Both a lot of fun, and if you've already watched those, there will be more Stranger Things coming soon. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great one, and I'll see you tomorrow!